first met Dadi Janki in 1999. I was in the middle of preparing for a big summit of religious leaders at the United Nations, and someone had suggested that I meet Dadi Janki. So I went with no expectation, just really hoping to invite Dadi to come to this big summit at the United Nations. But I was totally unprepared for what met me. When I arrived there, we had some dialogue going on, and then this very small woman walks into this room, but bringing with her a tremendous spiritual energy and power. I was completely sort of transfixed when I first was in her presence and felt the energy that she carries. And then after the dialogue for that day, I was invited to come up and meet with her personally. And I was lost in those eyes of hers. She has the most amazing eyes. And when you gaze into them, you're seeing beyond the material world into the spiritual realms. And that was a very powerful experience for me, that first time meeting Dadi and gazing into her eyes and just feeling her presence.
उसे बोलती हूँ, पहले साले से जाती हूँ, साखियों को देखती हूँ, संसार में मनुष्यों की एनर्जी कितनी उतरती कला में, ये रियलाइज होना चाहिए। चढ़ती कला में कैसे जावे, चढ़ती कला में दो बातों की शक्ति लेके जाती है, एक आत्म शक्ति, दूसरा परमात्मा के कनेक्शन की शक्ति, एनर्जी बनती है।
Whenever she came to New York, I always wanted to try to see her. And I was most moved because whenever I could go see her, she always made time to greet me personally. And then after meeting her a few times when she came to the U.S., she invited me to come to Mount Abu, which I did. I went a few times to Mount Abu to see her. And again, she always made time to meet me personally. And she called me her friend. And that was very, very special to me. I've met in my work, I've met so many spiritual teachers, religious leaders from around the world, and she was one of the few who really called me her friend and treated me as a friend. And so there was no formality when meeting Dadi. Of course, one was conscious that you were in the presence of a very great soul, and it was an intense love that came from her. She emanated this intense love, and she had a great effect on me. In my years, it's not easy to find, through the interfaith work that I've done, rare to find women spiritual teachers of that category who have such a presence and are beloved by so many and have love for the world. I mean, what one feels from Dadi is the love that she gives. And she treats everyone as if they are a friend. I knew that I was no different. Everybody was her friend. She was the friend to all, and she was to all a friend.
मेरे से कई पूछते भी हैं, मैं साखी होकर के देखती भी हूँ, इतनी हिम्मत कहाँ से आई है? कहेंगी भगवान से आई है, पर भगवान में भी मैंने अपन में विश्वास रखा है तो भगवान मदद देता है। इसमें अंदर से सच्ची लगन है ना, तो हिम्मत और मदद दोनों इकट्ठा। पहले हम इतने ही कहते थे हिम्मत बच्चे मदद बाप, अभी देखा है, अनुभव करता कहता है, हिम्मत बच्चे की है, 100 गुना 1000 गुना मदद बाप की है.
When I looked into the eyes of Dadi Janki, it was like looking into a deep well or an ocean on a beautiful day. I learned to deal with my ego. I learned to be more detached. I learned that to trust. And I started to understand that life would not give me more challenges than I could deal with, that I could handle. And after this, my life took a totally new turn. I'm much more comfortable with myself than I was. I've learned to trust. I'm calmer. I'm more caring. My ego is not as big as it was. I'm more detached. And I think I'm a better person. I know the people around me are happier, the people I love. I owe a lot to Dadi Janki.
On this special occasion, which is a year after Daddy's passing, I have this message for Daddy. Dearest Daddy, everything that you have taught me has been put to good use, and I am now sharing this valuable knowledge with others so that their lives will be peaceful and purposeful as mine has been for so many years now. Thank you, Daddy, for your special love.
Sometimes when I turn my mind to Dadi, I feel her presence right there. I see her smile because she has a most amazing smile. I see the intense love coming from her eyes, and I know that it's a friendship that will last eternally, because that's what friendship is. Friendship, once given, doesn't leave. Friendship is an eternal gift. So that's my love for Dadi, that's my memory of Dadi, and that's how I feel about being in Dadi's presence.
Om Shanti. We sit here to experience a beautiful presence of love and peace. Just allow yourself to be aware that I am peace. Peace is my state of mind. I listen, speak, interact with peaceful state of mind. My purpose of life is to contribute peace through my words, through my thoughts, through my actions. So that I become messenger of peace, as Dadi did. She became messenger of peace. Om Shanti. I am peace. Om Shanti.
When I think about you, my mind opens up to another.
Dadi Janki
world.
had such
You're very
small
kind,
hands, so small, so soft. They gave no indication whatsoever of the woman of steel that she was inside. But they were busy hands, dancing in expressive motions that seemed to give flight to her intentions and thoughts. Whatever she had to say, whatever the people in front of her needed. They were giving hands, from which hundreds of thousands received flowers, sweets, and blessings. Even if they were just resting on a caretaker's arm while she moved around, those hands were hard to not notice. And if you were lucky, they held your hands, or maybe your face, for the longest few seconds of your life. Dadi Janki walked with feet that were just as tiny, though of course you couldn't tell if you ever tried to keep up with her on early morning walks. When you caught a glimpse while those tiny feet rested on a pillow during class or during an audience with her, you found yourself musing. She's built like a child. Wherever is all that wisdom stored? Let alone where those feet took her around the world. The bigger wonder was where they did not. Through her vision and famously unrelenting drive, the 84-year-old Brahma Kumaris World's Spiritual University, to which she gave 83 of her 104 years in this lifetime, is now in 130 countries. If her lips never spoke Gyan or spirituality, power would still have flowed from Dadi Janki's eyes. According to the situation or the need of the moment, those eyes were so playful they sparkled, or so piercing they saw right through you, or so warm you were instantly comforted. "Who are you going with?" she asked a Philippine student who was about to journey home after the annual foreigners retreat in Madhuban, the main campus in Mount Abu, Rajasthan. "No one, Daddy, I am taking the trip alone," was the reply. Daddy held the student's chin up, fixed her with a loving gaze, and after about 10 seconds that felt like forever, she said, "You are never alone." It took 2 days for the solo traveler to snap out of that protective trance. Daddy's eyes did that every time, without fail. It didn't matter if you were looking into them for the first time or for the longest time, or possibly for the last time. You peered into those eyes and suddenly you were where she wanted you to be. And always, always, that meant out of the consciousness of your physical senses and in a space of safety, a place of trust, because those eyes were constantly lit by love for God. That Philippine BKs were drawn to Dadi Janki was plain to see from the start. But not everyone knew the extent of Daddy's affection and good wishes for this country and for Filipinos. She was quick and generous with blessings and praise every chance she got. She loved Philippine mangoes. During the pilgrimage season, she looked forward to Sister Rajni telling her, "Daddy, Filipino brothers and sisters brought mangoes." Invariably, her excited reaction was, "How many?" In her eyes, the Philippines was a bountiful place that nature lavishly provided for. She proclaimed as much in the early 1980s, the first of her 4 visits. Sister Rajni was in the same car driving back to Makati from Tagaytay City when Daddy noticed long rows of fruit stalls on both sides of the highway. It made Daddy exclaim in delight. Sister Rajni remembers, "Look at all those fruits. This is a very rich country." But she was told many felt that they were poor. Daddy replied, "In God's eyes, poor means sweet. Poor means loving." Daddy never forgot that the Philippines was the first country in Asia to invite Brahma Kumaris to start spiritual service. On that first visit, she also told Sister Rajni, "Meeting the people gave me the feeling that they have always belonged to God."
Dadi Janki came in 1985 to visit Philippines first time, and Dadi found this is the first country which invited Brahma Kumaris. in their country. Dadi was proud of that. And when Dadi came, also Dadi inaugurated our first center in Reposo, in Makati in 1985. And then Dadi also visited us 1986, first retreat in Mrs. King's, Valen King's place. And BK Brothers Sisters presented beautiful culture program with lot of happiness and big heart, singing, dancing. Dadi found the people, those who do this, they remain happy. So she found the BK Brothers Sisters of the Philippines, the culture is full of happiness. And Dadi also came 2004 to inaugurate our retreat center, first retreat center in Asia at that time. And that time Dadi came to Tagaytay, and on the way she saw beautiful shops filled with a lot of colorful fruits. And Dadi said, this country is not poor, it is rich, richness of agriculture, richness of fruits. So Dadi really loved that. And Dadi also went to Puerto Azul in 1985 to give the vibrations to the nature. And Dadi also came in 2004, where she conducted first Asia NCC retreat, where 17 countries were present. And also Dadi was able to give a lot of love and sustenance to the participants of Asia. And they all liked, retreat center with creativity and newness. And not only BK family, but Dadi also did a lot of programs in 1985, 86, and 2004, public programs in Mondragon, Ayala Museum, in different city like Star City. So I found Dadi has visited 4 times or 5 times to Philippines. And Dadi also visited our centers out of Manila, Baguio, Dagupan, Tagaytay, Makati. In this way, Dadi saw the beauty of the Philippine culture as well as the beautiful nature. So Dadi has won the hearts of everyone when Dadi came in 1985. So Dadi always found in Philippines a lot of VIP services taking place. So we took her to the cardinal scene. And Dadi also mentioned to him that I do meditation 4 a.m. And he also told Dadi, I also remember God. In this way, Dadi was able to win the heart of Cardinal Sin also, and they became like a friend. So we found Dadi Janki's wisdom, love, and sustenance from the beginning has been sustaining the BK family of the Philippines. Thank you.
The roles that Dadi played in the individual lives of Philippine BKs were widely varied. Some of those roles were rather serious. Others were light and easy. Each one was unforgettable, binding, and life-changing. Personal recollections are the most precious, and every encounter with Dadi, whether in India, elsewhere in the world, or during any of her 4 visits to the Philippines, was taken and has been kept as personal. That was, and still is, her enduring magic. Divya, now a young woman, was 13 at the time of her first meeting with Dadi, who gave her a gift of God's image as a point of light. The 13-year-old's lasting impression did not consist of superlatives. The one word that the child found to describe the experience to her mother was of this grandmother who was simply relatable. When Dadi visited Baguio City in 1994, Phil was introduced to her. She looked at his smiling face and shining forehead unhurriedly, and finally, smiling back, she said, "You are not Phil. You are full. Your name is full." Actress, singer, and songwriter Timmy never gets tired of sharing one outstanding memory of Daddy feeding her blueberry cookies on her first trip to Madhuban. I felt so much love from God in those few fleeting moments, she says. And then so much joy when we danced. Yes, we danced together. So much so, she adds, that her life took a 180-degree turn from the mindset that she was a body who had a soul to being a soul who had a body. Patricia asked to be brought in front of Daddy when she felt she needed a spiritual name that might help her out of a slump. She recalls, Daddy looked at me, tilted her head as though to catch a thought, and said, absorbed in the love of God, Yogini, that is your name. Patricia, now Yogini, felt her heart skip a beat. When she can't focus during meditation, Agnes, an author, still finds herself, as she puts it, riding on Daddy's current. She says of that energy, it is so strong, it is everywhere. Dadi Janki showed in a very big way her appreciation for the paintings that Clyde, an artist, brought or sent to Madhuban. The paintings were given to VIPs as special gifts, which now makes Clyde say, Daddy will always be my daddy.
A soul so gentle, a soul divine, always affirming and reassuring. In our dark moments, she lights our way.
Tina was a new student when she first met Dadi Janki at the Center for Spiritual Learning in Tagaytay. Tina narrates, she had come to inaugurate the retreat center. I was giddy and determined to take her photograph. I saw her walking with Sister Janti one morning and I ran after them. Once given permission, I took out my camera and, hardly breathing, pressed the button. But nothing happened. I had no more film. I was very frustrated, but Daddy smiled at me and instantly I bounced back, beaming. 1 year ago today, Tina wrote this song for her.
Angel of love, shaped our wings to fly.
Om Shanti. The main things about Dadi Janki that impacted me the most, and also a great inspiration for my own spiritual journey, are first, Dadi Janki's deep and unshakable love for Baba, Baba's Gyan, and Baba's Yagya. And for me, I see Dadi as the embodiment of having one strength, one support, one Baba. And second, Dadi Janki's intoxication, zeal, and enthusiasm for Baba's unlimited seva. She lived her life at every second, sharing Baba's love and knowledge to souls all around the world. And the third is, one of the first reading materials I read in the center when I became a BK was Dadi Janki's collection of classes. And one of the powerful points I got from there and is definitely helping me in my Brahmin life is not to look at anyone except Papa. And that main effort to maintain good wishes for everyone, whatever happens. Thank you, Daddy, for being a great inspiration and for being Baba's wonderful instrument for all of us. Om Shanti.
A wise elder, one who had a deep love of knowledge, a conqueror of matter. That is how Dadi Janki is to me. An inspirational teacher who uplifts students to dive into the depths of knowledge. Daddy practically make us experience the pearls of knowledge as our living truth. Tireless as ever, she has shown us to use time in a worthwhile way, a spiritual template for perfection. Surely, we had a lot of fond memories of her. I had mine when I was a year Indian in Madhuban, when we had our Asia Pacific meeting to meet Daddy. Lucky I was seated on the floor just in front of her. As we wait for the rest of the group, we all sit in silence. In my mind, I cast a very powerful thought. Few minutes later, Daddy spoke in Hindi and glanced towards me. The translator said, Daddy said, you are giving her bliss. To my surprise, she catch my pure, single thought accurately. That's Daddy's catching power. Now I knew bliss is, thank you for showing us practically that it can be done. Om Shanti.
Merle, a management and marketing person, has been a very effective meditation teacher for over 30 years because, she says, Daddy made God real and accessible to me. This strong conviction that God will make everything in my life work out for the best has sustained me in this faith as much as Daddy's lightness, which for me worked like a dance between being serious yet carefree, focused yet expansive, reflective yet dynamic. It was the most wonderful birthday for Wang during an Asian retreat in Malaysia. She received a red rose, an intoxicating drishti or gaze of love, and a hug from Daddy. She sums up the moment in 3 words. I almost cried. In Hong Kong, Rani was smitten all over again. A few years earlier, she had received her BK ring from Daddy in Madhuban. This time around, she did not even need an occasion or a story. She relates, I can't forget how Daddy smiled back at me whenever I blew her a kiss. For Vicky, who has initiated activities and programs for the public at the main Philippine Center in Makati, even throughout the long lockdown, Dadi Janki was a practical example of no excuses, no compromise, however long one gets to live. Daddy, Vicky says, was consistently and unequivocally an embodiment of solutions and willpower. Remembering her as Baba's perfect instrument keeps me alert in my own efforts. Becky has held key positions in Brahma Kumaris, Philippines, long enough to have seen ups and downs since the 1980s. She narrates one particular episode in the early life of the Philippine family that demonstrated Dadi Janki's commitment.
Om Shanti. I'm Rebecca Ortega from the Philippines. I came to Tian in 1983. My first assignment was in Baguio. And there was something that happened in Baguio which we needed Daddy to come because there was most of our students came from the Catholic university called St. Louis University. The conflict was because it's a very Catholic city. Baguio City is up in the north, the mountain. They were saying that we are teaching another religion, and we're influencing some of the faculty because they come to the class, and that was a big thing. And I think some parents initiated a kind of a demonstration against us. And therefore, some of the BKs who are actually working at the university was subjected to a lot of feedback about their involvement with the Brahma Kumaris. So there was a time when Dadi Janki had to come to actually interact with the city. And Dadi did not have any time, so she can only be there for about 24 hours. She came early in the morning by flight. We had a lunchtime public program for the whole city where she actually talked about Gyan and an open question and answer. And I can actually see the confidence of Dadi and her contact with the audience, which actually generated not of questions, but a lot of that aspect of vibration of love. And a lot of people had a very good experience. So I thought Dadi will rest, but she said, no, I'm not going to rest. Show me the Shakti, show me the Pandavalan, and show me the other center, which is down the mountain of Baguio, which is actually about, in a sense, about 90 minutes drive from Baguio City to I think the Gupan City. Okay, and so what happened was, she was so enthusiastic about being there. Most of the students speak English, but some of them can't, but she was interacting with them, asking them about Baba. And I was just watching it, and she said, does Dadi really have time to do this? And I can see her enthusiasm and the ability to be able to make them feel her love. And we were just there for just half an hour. And I think after that, they were so happy, and we went back to Baguio. Okay. I think that was my experience of that, being able to share instantaneously the love for the students.
Dadi was an internationally acknowledged spiritual leader. On top of overseeing the global expansion of Brahma Kumaris since 1974, she had 3 to 10 things going at any given time. She led a delegation to the 4th UN World Conference on Women in Beijing, served in the UN Keepers of Wisdom Advisory Group during the Earth Summit in Rio, addressed world leaders at Habitat 2 in Istanbul. She was a patron of the World Congress of Faiths and the author of 5 published books on spirituality. To make a very long resume short, Dadi Janki was never not busy. Still, she diligently went where her heart led. That heart, spurred by service, did not even require the spotlight or center stage. For Marge, a journalist and performance artist, Dadi made 2 special journeys to Manila. As co-administrator of Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual University, yes, but more as an enthusiastic service companion. She would not be stopped. Eyewitness accounts in London have it. Dadi is said to have told the handful who tried to reason with her, "I have to go. I am going. Marge is my friend, and she has prepared this unique service with so much love. I should be there."
I'm not a dancer. I have more guts than grace. Dadi Janki's nuggets of wisdom have inspired me to use dance, theater, video, and music to express profound truths. My breakout performance was Wings of Soul in 2002. I descended on stage in a cocoon and ascended at the end of the play to suggest transcendence. Despite my hectic schedule, I managed to perform almost every year based on Dadi Janki's books and lectures. I gained more from her insights. When I asked about how to raise money from sponsors, she said, "Don't worry about money. It's only energy. Look at me. I only remember God."
जब मेरे से पूछते हैं तुमने अपने मन को कैसे एकाग्र किया, तो मुझे बचपन याद आता है। ईश्वर के लिए प्यार होने से मन को कहाँ चलामान होने या डोलामान होने नहीं दिया था।
In 2003, she came to Grace Dancing in the Light, which was based on Companion of God. This coincided with the anniversary of Philippine service. 2 years later, she came again for Don't Think, which was one of her mantras about keeping the mind calm.
नो क्वेश्चन मार्क, नो आश्चर्य की निशानी, ये क्यों हुआ, ये क्या हुआ, डोंट थिंक, डोंट थिंक।
And at the end of the concert, to my surprise, she called me in front of the audience and gave me a token and her vision of love. I cringed at my performances. Fortunately, people remembered the peaceful atmosphere at the theater and Dadi's simple but profound insights, like, how do you conquer anger?
First, I should develop patience based on the awareness of being a soul. The fruit of this is, second, the power of tolerance. The third is love for all.
Just see the condition of the heart and the mind these days. Our heart, the mind. Now who are we going to blame? We need to understand and discipline the self through silence.
We should rise above these wasteful thoughts. These thoughts disturb our inner peace, and inner peace is needed for power. Realizing the true nature of the self and the supreme is like lighting a lamp.
I told her my frustration that people seemed indifferent to my works. After the concert, nobody said anything, and when I posted dance videos on YouTube, there was no engagement.
When someone says something askew, my only response should be to go into such a deep silence that his very thoughts change automatically. Others will not always accept what I say, but silence always works.
Dadi said, God says, do not seek results. Just be an instrument and souls will take what they want from God and you will have done what you needed to do.
भगवान कहते don't think, be peaceful.
When Dadi left her body to henceforth serve humanity as an angel, it was easy to imagine waves upon waves of soothing colors and light from around the planet descending on Madhuban. The announcement on March 27th, 2020 read, "Our beloved Dadi Janki has passed on from this physical life." Response was swift and spontaneous. Happy memories reminisced in silence, memories of unbidden love, utmost regard, and boundless gratitude. all expressed in joyous messages. She, who had fearlessly proclaimed that she knew how to die because she knew how to live, had flown, having shown the way to others. Today, we mark that triumph over mortality. Brahma Kumaris Philippines joins the international family in acclaiming this life, perfectly led, in service perfectly rendered, and presented to the world as a golden yardstick against which lives should be measured if human beings were to build heaven on earth.
When I think about you, my mind opens up to another world. Blueberry skies, strawberry fields, you color my world. Whatever you do it in bright red. When I see that red.
So that is Dadi Janki to the world. That is Dadi Janki of the Philippines. A friend to all, a friend of all. A friend indeed, a friend who fulfills our need to a T. A friend who makes us come close to God because he has made God her close and absolute companion. A friend who has a big heart that could accommodate all our pain and sorrow. A friend whose wise words gives us a solution to our problem and continues to inspire us. So with this, we would like to share with you words of wisdom of Dadi Janki. There will be e-blessing cards that will be shared on the screen, and you can choose your number 1 to 4. And then you can use these blessing cards of Dadi Janki as an affirmation and see the magic that will happen in your life. So now let's see have you chosen your number? So now let's see number 1. Those who have chosen number 1, this is your blessing. So it says observation. The practice of silently watching life from the vantage point of being an observer enables me more clearly to understand events and other people's inner concerns and qualities. I become slower to judge and better able to respond openly and thoughtfully, free from any influence of the situation itself. And so words of wisdom number 2 from Dadi Janki. So positivity. She says, if my mind is still enough, I can see the deeper meaning behind its situation. No matter how bad a problem may seem on the surface, if I remain positive, eventually I will see how everything has worked out for the best. So those who chose number 3, this is your blessing from Dadi Janki. It says silence. It is when I am silent, the chattering of my mind, that I can truly hear what is in my heart and find the still, clear purity that lies within the soul. It is when I am silent within that I can let God into my heart and mind, fill me with peace, love, and power. And lastly, those who chose number 4, care. I express care and concern by responding to situations with a cool head and to people with a warm heart. I remain aware that as fellow human beings, we are all part of one family, and that even the smallest gestures can make a difference to people's lives. I am always blessed with a caring heart. So Om Shanti. Thank you for joining us. And we would like to thank you for joining us this afternoon. And we're pleased to share with you Dadi Janki's life. So this is, for those who are interested, this is our website. So Om Shanti, I am peace. Om Shanti, I am peace. Thank you.
Thank you for your inspiration, for your life and love. Thank you for your recognition of the one above. Thank you for your sweet compassion, for your life of truth. Thank you for walking on this earth. Thank you for being you. The river flows back to the ocean. The trees turn back to dust. The sun must set as the day ends, and so shall all of us. The gift of silence is returned to each one's soul by soul. I know you hold it in your heart as you watch your life unfold. So go to the sea, flow to the ocean, fly like a bird to his arms. Take all the love of all who will miss you, but know we are never apart. Thank you for your inspiration, for your life and love. Thank you for your recognition of the one above. Thank you